એની સાથે જ બીજી મિડકેપ કંપની રિલાયન્સ કેપિટલમાં રિલાયન્સ લાઇફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સનો નિપ્પોનો તેનો જે હિસ્સો છે તે 26%થી વધારીને 49% કર્યો છે. આના પર વધુ વાતચીત કરવા આપણી સાથે रिलायंस कैपिटल सीईओ सैम घोष जोड़ाई रहा है. सैम जी, आपका स्वागत है सीएनबीसी बाजार में. सबसे पहले सर, ये जो डील आपने अनाउंस की है सर, कब तक डील पूरी होते हुए दिखेगी सर, और ये डील के जरिए सर आप करीबन 2200 करोड़ के आसपास की रकम जुटा रहे हैं. क्या किस तरह से आप जो रकम है उसका यूज करेंगे?
No, so we are delighted that Nippon Life has decided to extend its shareholding in our life insurance company from 26% to 49%. We signed the agreements 2 days ago, and so that's the definitive documents. Now they'll be filed with IRDAI and CCI and FIPB. Normally it takes about 3 months. So our aim is that we want to conclude the transaction by 31st March. If you look at the transaction, it's 23% for 2,265 crores. So the valuation of Reliance Life for this transaction is at about 10,000 crores, which is significant valuation primarily because it's over three times embedded value, which is one of the highest in the market today. And so we are delighted that Nippon Life has looked at the business and given this valuation. Now it's primarily because our company is an agency company. Agency franchisees are obviously much stronger. That franchise belongs to the company. Obviously going forward also they can see the potential for bank assurance also with the corporate agency guidelines. From 1st April onwards, banks can work with up to 3 insurance companies, so that will also help the life insurance company. We are obviously in talks with a number of banks, and hopefully we'll get a few banks as partners. So besides agency, direct marketing, we'll also have a bank channel. So we know that growth in the business will increase in the next few years, as well as embedded value. So this obviously is a significant value proposal for both us and for Nippon Life. If you look at the usage of the funds, 2,265 crores will come by the end of this financial year. Main intention is to grow our housing finance. Our chairman had mentioned at the last AGM that our company should start focusing on housing finance because there's tremendous opportunity in the market, especially in the affordable housing segment. We had started growing our business about a few years back, and today our AUM for our housing finance business is at about 6,500 crores. We should close the year end at about over 10,000 crores AUM. And going forward, we'd like to at least grow that business to about 15,000 and 20,000 crores AUMs gradually over the next 2 years. So obviously there's significant opportunity. We have been growing at about 65%. The capital can be utilized. Part of the proceeds from the sale of the life business will go towards increasing the growing the housing finance business. The balance will go towards reduction of debt at Reliance Capital level. And if you look at Reliance Capital, our net debt to equity ratio is at about 1.8. So we have a very healthy ratio, but we want to bring it down to about 1.2.
जी, आपने जिस तरह से बताया आप डेफिनेटली हाउसिंग फाइनेंस स्पेस में काफी बुलिश है और वहां पे ग्रो करना चाहते हैं सर, लेकिन आप कुछ नंबर शेयर कर पाए? अगर आपने जिस तरह से, अगर मैं सही कर रहा हूं, आप बोल रहे हैं पार्ट उसमें से जाता हुआ दिखेगा, तो करीबन जो 2200 या 2300 करोड़ का जो आपको फंड रेजिंग आप कर रहे हैं या कह सकते स्टेक बेच के जो जमा कर रहे हैं, उससे आप 1100 करोड़ हाउसिंग फाइनेंस बिजनेस में लगाएंगे और 1100 करोड़ से आपका डेट रिडक्शन करेंगे. साथ ही सर हाउसिंग फाइनेंस बिजनेस अभी आपके जो रेवेन्यू है उसमें कितना कंट्रीब्यूट ओवरऑल करता है?
So if you look at today for Reliance Capital's overall revenue, the housing finance is contributing about 10%. We obviously expect it to contribute, this year will close at about 15%. We expect to contribute in the future at least 25% of Reliance Capital's profits should come from the housing finance business.
ओके सर, उसी के साथ ही सर जिस तरह से सर ओवरऑल इंश्योरेंस स्पेस की बात करें सर, बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां है, अपना जो इंडियन जेवी पार्टनर्स है उसमें स्टेक बढ़े सर, डेफिनेटली ये जो इंडस्ट्री है वहाँ पे कॉम्पिटिटिव इंटेंसिटी सर और बढ़ रहा है, तो किस तरह से सर आप ये जो स्पेस है सर उसमें ग्रोथ करने की कह सकते क्षमता देख रहे हैं? क्योंकि जिस तरह से सर निप्पॉन ने आपको वैल्यूएशंस दिया है मार्केट में सबसे कह सकते सबसे उम्दा वैल्यूएशंस आपको मिले हैं सर, तो किस तरह से आगे जाके ग्रोथ की ट्रेजेक्टरी लाइफ इंश्योरेंस बिजनेस में रिलायंस की होगी?
See, today the market is growing primarily first of all, let's look at it, the Indian life insurance market is fairly under-penetrated. So the opportunity for growth will be there next 10 to 15 years. Today the market is growing based on unit-linked business, and primarily because the bank-owned insurers are selling more and more unit-linked products. Our company has been focusing up to now on traditional products, primarily because we are an agency-driven company. So therefore our growth rates this year have been about 8 to 10% compared to the overall growth rate of the industry, which is slightly higher, primarily driven by the private sector insurers who are bank-owned, which are growing at about 20-25%. Going forward, we know that from 1st April, as I mentioned, that with the new corporate agency guidelines, we'll also have a few banks with us, and that will also help us grow. So going forward next year, I'd look at Not only should we grow at about 10 to 15% from the traditional products, but also another 10 to 15% from unit links. So we should easily be able to grow at about 25, overall 25% growth rate should be achievable going forward in the next financial year. And as I said, the market is still has huge opportunity. Penetration levels are still lower for India compared to other parts of the world. And so therefore we know that this market will continue growing. Question is what percentage of the market share can we get? Obviously today our market share in the private sector is about 5%. Can we increase that to 8 to 10%? Because though we are number 5 in terms of size, in terms of new business premium, but we have opportunities still to grow, and with the opportunity in the bancassurance space, we certainly should be bringing ourselves to the top 3 should be the target for the company.
ओके सर, पॉइंट टेकन सर। उसके साथ ही सर निप्पॉन ने सर आपका जो कैपिटल असेट मैनेजमेंट बिजनेस सर वहां पे भी सर एक स्टेक खरीदा है सर। सर वहां भी समझना चाहेंगे सर किस तरह की योजना है सर आगे इस जो असेट मैनेजमेंट बिजनेस है उसको बढ़ाने के लिए सर। और इसी के साथ ही सर निप्पॉन का हम देखें तो ओवरऑल रिलायंस कैपिटल में अब तक निप्पॉन कितना इन्वेस्ट कर चुके हैं, अगर आप कोई बॉल पार्क नंबर दे पाए।
करेक्ट। So if you look at today, Nippon Life also last month we announced in October that Nippon Life will be increasing its stake from 35% in the asset management business to 49% for 1,200 crores, valuing the company at about 8,500 crores. Now if you look at overall, so far Nippon Life would have invested both in life company as well as asset management company put together over 8,600 crores. So significant investment, nearly 3,300 crores on the asset management business and over 5,000 crores in the life insurance business. So together it's a significant investment by them. Again on the asset management business also the transaction closure will happen in the last quarter of this year. So we are awaiting some regulatory approvals. As soon as that happens, the funds will also come in on that front. And again, the opportunity for growth on the asset management is already been demonstrated the last 12 to 18 months. Markets have been doing well. So most of the asset management companies have been growing at a significant pace. And good thing is equity AUMs have grown because domestic institutional investors, domestic retail investors rather, have been putting more and more funds into the equity portfolio, and that's why equities have been doing well for us as well as for the industry. So if you look at even for our company, equity AUM today is over 35,000, 40,000 crores, which is a significant position to be in.
जी सर, आखिरी चीज समझना चाहेंगे सर, ओवरऑल हम देखें सर आपने जितने भी आपके बिजनेसेस है सर वहां से आप वैल्यू अनलॉकिंग अब तक करते हुए देखे, चाहे लाइफ इंश्योरेंस का बिजनेस हो, असेट मैनेजमेंट का बिजनेस हो, शायद सर आपके हाउसिंग फाइनेंस स्पेस में आपने अब तक कोई वैल्यू अनलॉकिंग नहीं किया, तो वहां क्या योजना है सर, कोई स्टेक सेल होता हुआ दिखेगा? और उसी के साथ ही सर अपने जितने भी रिलायंस कैपिटल के अंडर जो लाइफ इंश्योरेंस बिजनेस है, असेट मैनेजमेंट बिजनेस है, उसको कोई लिस्ट कराने की योजना है? IPO proceedings?
No, so if you look at for our general insurance business, yes, certainly we are in talks with a number of partners. We haven't come to any concrete solution, so until we come to that, we can't discuss it. But yeah, our intention is that we would like to bring in a partner up to 49% in our general insurance business also. On the NBFC business, our commercial finance, which sits at Reliance Capital level, obviously there won't be any partner being brought in. On the housing finance also, once it's grown to a significant size, we'd certainly look at bringing in a strategic partner in that business at some point. And if you look at from a Reliance Capital overall perspective, I think the businesses are all performing well. We expect them to continue growing at a good rate, and once the strategic partners are in, they'll also help us grow the businesses. In terms of listing, at this point there's no decision to list any of the companies because Reliance Capital itself is a listed company, so having one listed company holding only financial services stocks is a reasonable way to go forward. However, if regulators ask us to list the life insurance or the general insurance business at some point in time, then we'll have to consider that.
जी सैम जी, आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हम साथ जुड़ने के लिए और सारी बातें शेयर करने के लिए। तो આ રિલાયન્સ કેપિટલના મેનેજમેન્ટે જણાવી રહ્યા હતા કે ડેફિનેટલી નિપ્પોન લાઈફે કશી ખાસા એવા ઊંચા વેલ્યુએશન્સ પર એક સ્ટેક બાય કર્યો છે, પણ ડેફિનેટલી તેમની પાસે પણ એવી યુએસપીસ છે કે જે વેલ્યુએશનને જસ્ટિફાય કરે છે। બીજી બાજુ તેઓ એમ પણ જણાવી રહ્યા છે કે લાઈફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ સ્પેસમાં ડેફિનેટલી કોમ્પિટિશન વધી રહી છે, પણ આ કોમ્પિટિશન છે ત્યાં હજી એક ગ્રોથની સારી ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટીઝ જોવા મળી રહી છે અને આગળ જઈને પણ તેમનો જે હાઉસિંગ ફાઇનાન્સ બિઝનેસ છે ત્યાં કશે ને કશે તેઓ એક સ્ટેક કરતા જોવા મળી શકે છે। સ્ટોક પર એકવાર નજર કરીએ તો એક 2% વધારા સાથે એક ફ્લેટ કારોબાર કહી શકાય તે રિલાયન્સ કેપિટલના સ્ટોક પર આપણને જોવા મળી રહ્યો છે। આ સાથે જ